Hi guys, welcome to the video. Today we're going to talk about art goals for 2023. So hopefully this will give you some ideas of things that you may, want to include in your goal list, or just generally kind of how I look at creating goals and types of things that, you can put under that umbrella of art goals. So the first thing that I want to show you here, I haven't showed this, but this is my 2023 planner. So it's a Tina and Mia planner. So I got it from Good Postage, and it's actually got half of last year and then like this full year in. So the part that I missed out of last year, I'm actually using that as kind of a notes section at the beginning. So for YouTube videos, recipes, it's just generally kind of a catch-all, like a bit of a commonplace book in that first 6 months. And then I started actually using the planner part so I think the week of Thanksgiving last year. So yeah, and you can see like I haven't really censored any of this, so I've covered most of it up, but I'm just kind of showing you that I always use my planner partly as a daily log, partly as a planner, and then also always with the little sketches of emblems. And just when I'm sitting there, I'll always add like a little bit of embellishment somewhere in, the weekly spread. So I may just only do one or two, but you can see here like I've done a little bit more of an elaborate one. So that's just really based on like how much time I have that week. So I'm kind of showing you here what I do is just sit down, and I don't have the extra lights on there, but I'll just sit down and open this and just take 5 minutes or less at the end of the day to kind of plan ahead, to write down a daily log. Then I'll use like the notes section at the bottom for either, sometimes like I'll just do a stamping like a word like this. Sometimes I will use it for like extra notes, like a recipe we were trying, different things like that. And generally on the Monday I will add in like an emblem to kind of start the week as well. So I used to journal quite a bit, and then I had quite a few years where I just didn't, because I didn't really know how, I wanted to do that. So I think this method I've been doing since about 2017, 2018, and it works really well because there's a little bit of room in there to sketch some ideas, and then also you kind of filling in that planning, and the journaling part is more of a daily log. And yeah, you can see that all the months have different colors as well, but I was hoping for one of the actually cloth bound ones, which that isn't, so I didn't really show it on the channel, but yeah, it's been quite nice, like the size of it and everything. So the other place that I put some of my art goals is in this traveler's notebook. This is a Chic Sparrow one, and I have this little Apica notebook in here, and I just will often like use this for swatching. You'll see it on the channel, and then I also will write down things that I want to work on through the year. So I won't really spend a lot of time on that, but we will see some of them in this video and then some more through the year. So one of the first things that I want to work on is botanical illustration, botanical sketching. And I have this little box. So this is like a little pencil box it was Contier Paris pastel pencils, the 12 pack. And you can see in, I think it was the spring haul last year, I filled it with these beautiful colors, and I really, really love this color palette. It's very soft and warm when you open it. But you'll see in this video I have changed it out, and I'll explain that. But I made this probably, I don't know, last spring, and I started using it straight away. So I was able to take it to quite a few places, and just if I was in like the dentist's office or the doctor's office or something, and I was waiting, and it was quite discreet, so I could just kind of pull that out, just grab a pencil, and just have my moleskin. And I wasn't really like doing a whole art party. I was just kind of in the waiting room, just being able to do something. So, but the other week I took all these things down to the kitchen table. So I had the pencil box, you could see the extra large charcoals, the Derwent charcoals, and then the 2 microns there. I had the micron 005 and another 005 in the Pigma Micron Holder pen. So I really love that, and it just gives it a bit of a nicer feeling. And then I have this handbook sketchbook, I think that's what it is. And I use this one just purely for like sketching and like technical drawing kind of stuff. So it's not really for watercolor, like I don't really use it for that, but pencils and things like that is more what I'm using it for. So I have these huge leaves that we collected in December, and I'll kind of give you a little flip through of this journal a little bit later in the video. You can see like the little acorn cap, a little bit of a pine cone, like tiny pine cones, and then this is the lemon bee balm. So it's a dried stalk of that was in the garden in December. So basically what I'm doing here, I've got my little plate of specimens, and I'm just sort of catching up on some of the like perpetual nature journals. So I'll kind of explain again, like you'll see it a little bit later in the video, but I do have a whole kind of playlist of the botanical journal kind of thing that I'm doing, and I have a whole nother setup for that. But what I've done in this journal is just put like 12 spreads, so one for each month, and then I can use this to kind of for larger things that kind of don't fit in the other one. Like these leaves are quite large and they almost don't fit because the other one's a traveler's notebook size. So yeah, you can see here as well that like as well as the botanical sketching part, I was really interested in the shadows that it was creating, and then I was just using the colored pencils to actually go from like lightest shadow to darkest shadow and create some of that kind of movement and color on the page. I feel like this is a little bit like Fauvism meets botanical illustration, so really focusing on those strong colors and the kind of painterly quality, kind of juxtaposed with the technical drawing and that really painstaking and beautiful kind of realistic quality. So hopefully you can see the colours that I'm using there. If not, I can link them below, or at least list them below. But yeah, you can see that I'm kind of holding my pencil on the side, so I'm actually kind of doing small circular motions with the side of the pencil. So that also helps the pencil to stay sharp, you know, like pointy, like you're not wearing down your pencil quite as much, but it also sort of gives it a nice consistency on the paper. Like it gives it kind of nice layers. So yeah, anyway, but let's see. So I'm grabbing out a few other pencils here, and what I am also doing is, so like for the lemon bee balm, so I was just holding the stalk there until I got it to where the shadow sort of positioned to where I liked it, and then I would just take the colored pencil or pastel and create and just kind of fill that in. And so this is where I was kind of talking about like the Fauvism versus the botanical sketching. So if you haven't heard about the Fauvism, it was an avant-garde movement. So it began in France. I think kind of Matisse was the one who was pioneering it, and it was kind of post-impressionism. So after Monet and all of the impressionists, then they started to do this really shift towards the really strong colours. So I think it was like, I'm not sure, but I looked up either the Met or Wiki, and it said that Fauvism emphasized painterly qualities and strong colour over representational or realistic. But you can see here that I'm kind of combining the painterly qualities and the strong colour with the representational and realistic. So it says 3 of the things that they stood for were unnatural colours, vivid brushstrokes, and it was less about creating 3-dimensional paintings, more about creating movement of colour planes, which I really, really liked. And then they kind of, so on the Met, they kind of talked about Matisse alone pursued so a bunch of artists sort of got on board with him, and then they sort of went off and did other things. But it said Matisse alone pursued the course he had pioneered, achieving a sophisticated balance between his own emotions and the world he created, which I think was really beautiful. And so, yeah, it's really interesting, I think, that you can kind of combine these two really beautiful types of art. And you can see here that I'm using my fingers a lot. I'm using the micron here, so I've kind of blocked in some colour with the Derwent XL charcoals. And I think I got a question about that. I can't, hang on a minute. So sometimes, like when it's on an older video, I can't always find it, or anyway, it's a little bit difficult. But so I really like that. My favourite XLs that is the graphite 04, the burnt umber, and I think I got the number 5 in the soft. But you can see here, like, I really do enjoy using the charcoals as well. So yeah, it's just kind of, you know, what works in the situation. But yeah, so I was just kind of going to leave it like this. I was getting a little bit tired, and then I did decide to do the bottom leaf as well and kind of build that up. So, and I think this is the beauty of creating kind of goals and then sort of seeing how, you know, where they end up and how they expand. So for me, I wasn't actually thinking about using like the charcoals or the colour. I was just thinking about doing the botanical sketching. I was going to use the micron. I really wanted to do these really large leaves, and the more I thought about, though, I thought that's going to be like quite, you know, a long and like in-depth process. So that's when I kind of thought maybe I can block in some of it with the charcoal. And yeah, so I really enjoyed doing that. And I think, and then when I was sitting downstairs, I actually really enjoy doing art at night, because you get that kind of that soft light, and it does create shadows and kind of different qualities, which can be really interesting. So yeah, that is kind of where the shadows and that extra colour around the other specimens came in. So yeah, really enjoyable. And I think that's one of the things, is that when you're adding kind of something to your goal list, the more that you kind of try it in different ways, try it with different mediums, the more you kind of exploring and figuring out your style and how you would like to, you know, portray that and create that. So yeah, it can definitely be, you know, the more that you work on something, the more apt you become to kind of understand how you want to portray it. So yeah. Okay, so the next thing that we do here, you can see like this pencil box has entirely changed here now. So one of the goals that I had was that I have every year, is to make the supplies I'm using work for me and just check that they're kind of you know, doing what I need them to do and whatever. So I had a lot of pastel pencils in this pencil box because I just kind of felt like that's what I would be using. But as I went out there, I realized kind of that's not necessarily what I was using. And even though I really loved that other, like the setup and the colors and everything, I thought that it would probably be more useful to have a range of pencils that I could actually work from. So I'm not going to swatch them all individually because I think most of these are in my top favorites pencils videos, but you can kind of see them here, and then I will like show you the swatches close up. But what was I saying? But yeah, just re-looking at your supplies and kind of figuring out different storage solutions or different configurations, like if you have a palette, you know, and it's not quite working for you and you're not sure why, try changing it up a little bit. Yeah, just try changing out the supplies or the mediums that you're using. So yeah, you can see here that I swatched them out, and then I just started doing one of these color garden spreads that I've been really enjoying doing, and just was really inspired by this like muted palette and just creating these little rose bushes. So just a really kind of simple page, and yeah, but it was really enjoyable. So I've been really enjoying doing these pages because color to me is, you know, like that is, I don't know, that the music of the painting. And then but I really love the technical aspect of it, and like the graphite drawings and the emblems, and so it's nice to kind of combine all those things and yeah, just try different things on the page. So you can see here, like I've just done like a tiny little emblem and put a little rose bush in there, and then I'm sort of just thinking and working on the sky here. You can see like I really did not like the that sky, so I'm erasing it and just kind of sort of softening that out, and that's something that like I'll just keep working on, that little element and that kind of color palette and that aspect of it. So yeah, so you know, you might have something that you're interested in kind of trying to paint, and then you can break it down into steps or stages. You can just paint little bits of it. You can just work on like the color palette that you want to choose. You can work on the technical aspect of it. I'll show you in a minute like some value studies and things like that. So like, yeah, you can see like on this page here I also put like a little botanical specimen from a dried specimen that I just have on my shelf, and then the garland at the bottom. So yeah. Okay, so one of the other goals that I have every year is to look at new colours that are outside my comfort zone. And so the third one from the end there, the greenish blue, that is definitely a colour that I do not use, and I actually just got these two like new colours, like the pencil. I actually pinched the pencil off my mum, so she loves pencils, and yeah, so, and the Neocolor, I got the greenish blue Neocolor too. So I'm kind of trying to think about this colour. It's a colour that I really enjoy when I see it in paintings, but I just never use it. So, you know, that's something like every year I kind of look at, okay, is there a colour or a palette that I could kind of look at and try and think about. And it does take a while, like, to kind of, you know, introduce a new colour and kind of think about, you know, how can I create that and how can I use it. So I also, I think they're both luminance pencils. One's the Malachite green, I think, and then the other one is the dark sap green that was also my mum's. And yeah, it's a really beautiful one as well. So I've been using that in with that palette of the pencils that we just saw on the other page, the page before this one. Yeah, so the other goal that I have, and I started this kind of last year, is to create value studies. So again, like this sketchbook is kind of for this type of thing, so for creating like more graphite and pencil sketches to look at just how to actually create form and how to shade, and you know, getting a little bit more in depth on drawing. So also it's got a beautiful, this sketchbook has a beautiful cloth cover, so we might do some artwork on there at some stage. But you can see here, like, so just this is where it started, and these pages are still kind of in, you know, working. Like I haven't finished them yet, but yeah, that's kind of what the type of things that I'll be doing in this book. And so some of these I practice from like old like books and things, and some of them I am just kind of making up like from parts of other things, or you know, just I've got a few videos about that. But and then you can see here that like this starts the January spread of like the Botanical, the 12 months of Botanical illustrations. So I actually just followed along with Lara. So Lara Gastinger is the one who created the Perpetual Journal, and last week I just followed along with her live. Like, she encourages you to do something from your area, but sometimes like I just go out to do the nature walk to get a specimen, and then I just end up filming, and the specimen just like sits in, you know, just sits there. So I kind of ran out of time, so I just followed along with her last week, and it was really enjoyable. And then I did, you know, these ones which we have seen. So yeah, I have like kind of, rather than doing it week by week, and you can see like here's an iris that I started, but rather than doing it week by week, I just do it month by month, and then I can kind of, you know, rotate back to that. So every year you just go back to that month and add something on those pages. So yeah, and then kind of this is like one of the last pages in the book. And then so the other goal that I want to do this year, and I had hoped to paint this in this video, but I think we'll do this in another video, so is to do more architectural illustrations and paintings. So yeah, we'll definitely, I think I'll do like a part 2 to this, and we might do like some of my goals from the last 10 years, and you can kind of see like if you're a beginner or more advanced, like what are the different goals that you can have, and sort of how to achieve those. And then we will kind of look at that painting as well. So yeah, other than that, we've been doing a lot of baking, and I will leave you guys with a recipe for some strawberry ice cream we created. It's, yeah, pretty yummy. And then I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.